2021's been a weird year, man. It's crazy to think of everything that's happened this year because it feels like it went by like that. Like we started the year off with getting the 383 running in the Monte Carlo, and then we ended up getting that car running and driving for the first time in at least 10 years, which is awesome. But yeah, after we got the Monte Carlo running, we built the big block for Jack Black that ended up making 565 horsepower on the dyno. And he only took it to 6,000 RPM. Looking at the dyno graph, it was climbing still when he cut it off. So I think it was at least a 600 horsepower big block. And then I'd still love to get that truck like really dialed in. There's just, I still think that it's just blowing through the converter. Because it's like, even though the Edelbrocks aren't the best for performance and the tunnel ram, this, that, and the other, the heads, blah, 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 that engine with that combination still made 565 horsepower. So even on motor, it should be at least 11s. So I think that the converter's eating a lot of it. I think that there's just other things going on. So we have talked about putting the single plane back on it with a good Holley like 950 or something, and putting the plate kit back on it. And I think that'd be cool. I think it would help a lot, but I think it would kind of be masking whatever's going on with it. What else happened? Oh yeah, we got in the 9s this year, which was incredible and very, very unexpected. Because when I was originally putting this car together, the goal with it was 1099, and the very first time out, it went 1013 at like 135, I think, or 134, somewhere around there, mid 130s. And then the next time out, we were able to turn up the leave a little bit, leave on some more boost, which I wasn't sure it was gonna take. I thought it might just spin, but it just left pretty good. And we went 9.5 at 140, which was amazing. And like I remember being in the car while making the pass, and I'm just like, this does not feel fast at all. It feels like a mid 10 at like 120, 130, and then I get the time slip and it says 9.5, and I'm like, let's go! It was weird. Like, that car is pretty much bone stock suspension. I mean, the front is bone stock. The rear, obviously, it's a Ford 8.8 and AFCO springs and strange shocks, but it's all stock style. There's nothing fancy going on with it at all. There's not even an anti-roll bar in the car. So, I mean, that car has a ton of potential, and then I just knocked the legs out from under it, putting the supercharger on it. But I'm hoping that this thing should still be at least mid-9s with the supercharger. And if we upgrade to a bigger flowing unit, we might be able to touch the 8s with it, which would be so sick. We weren't able to do as much racing as I was hoping, but we were able to get out there quite a bit and at least test the cars a lot and get a bunch of seat time in them and get familiar with them. Had the Firebird for a little bit, switched that from nitrous to turbo. Oh, obviously the two big things are we picked up the Farmer's Daughter, the Harvester, the Stretch 10, the red-headed step truck, whatever you want to call it, that mid-engine S10 for 800 bucks, and we threw a small block in it for, I think we paid 200 bucks or 250 for that. Some heads I had laying around, an intake I had laying around. I don't remember what that carburetor's from, but I mean, realistically, we've got like maybe 1,200 bucks into that truck. And it's just a fun beater, man. Like, there's so many people that are like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. Or there's other people that are, they just don't like the truck. They're like, it's stupid, it's a waste of time. Why are you guys fucking with that and putting time and money into it? And it's like, it's just a fun truck, man. Like, the thing's just so crazy and weird looking. It's one of those trucks that I would like to get running just pretty decent and take to the track, see what it does, and I don't really care about it. If we put it in the wall, so what? But right now, it's just a novelty that's fun to play with, you know? It's like putting a baseball card in the spokes of your bicycle. It's just fun. As far as future plans with that truck, I don't want to spill too many beans, you know, but I was on the phone with one of the guys from Mid-America Customs. They hesitantly have an idea for something that I think the truck could be fun for. So that's kind of all I want to say. That's their deal. Also, if you haven't subscribed to MAK TV, Go check them out. They're doing some real cool stuff, and I think a lot of you guys would appreciate it if you don't already subscribe and watch their videos. I just want to have fun with that truck. It's not something that we take seriously at all. It's just something fun to goof around with, you know? And then we've got the Turbo LS Fiero that surprisingly a lot of people really like this. Like, I've had a lot of people comment or send me a message on Instagram saying that I'm not a Fiero guy at all, but I'm excited to see what happens with this thing. And a lot of the credit for this and like the ideas and advice and everything comes from Justin Pickard from Pickard Performance. Again, I've tried to mention them in almost every video with the Fiero. Go check them out and show them some support. Yeah, this thing, I had like no genuine intention on LS swapping. My dream would probably be a turbo K-swapped Fiero. I think that if you're trying to make something that's kind of balanced and performs well and, you know, isn't super heavy or anything like that, I think that's probably the best route. But what I was initially going to do with it was a supercharged 3800. And I've had a lot of people comment like, what do you think about this? And it's like, I was gonna do that. And then I just found the LS4 on Marketplace for 250 bucks. And I was like, even if I don't do the swap, I can use those internals on the motor for the RX-7, which is what I did, and then put normal Gen 3 parts in this. And I was like, let's just see what happens, which is kind of like how we do things here. Let's just see what happens. Let's just try it. I mean, what's the worst that happens? We put a car in the wall, it rolls a bunch of times, lights on fire, and then we die. Demonetized. Yeah, I was gonna do a supercharged 3800, found the LS4 and was like, let's just see how this goes. And so far it's turned out pretty well. I think, you know, honestly, I've had the idea. They make a front wheel drive version of the 4L80, right? Which a lot of you Slapping Mechanics guys and Turbo LS guys are familiar with. They can handle a lot of power. They make a front wheel drive version of that theoretically should handle a pretty good amount of horsepower. I think it was Hot Rod Garage put 1,000 horsepower through one of those, or was theirs a 4T65? I think theirs was a 4T80, right? Anyway, I was thinking, no prep Fiero, Turbo LS making legit power, like 1,000 plus, a really well built 4T80, and then gut the car, really good axles. It honestly looks like it might be able to fit a 28-10-5. I know there's guys running like really wide stanced tires on these. And then probably have to put like a real good chin spoiler on the front and a little bit of weight, and that thing could be real fast, and I bet it would hook on a lot of really shitty surfaces with all that weight over the tires. So that's one of the thoughts that I had, that if one of you guys want to steal that and run with it, I would love to watch it and not spend my money on it. So go right ahead, because I think it would be so sick. I keep looking over here because that's where most of the cars are, aside from this one. And then we got the Monte Carlo, which the Cutlass from yesterday really put that in kind of an awkward spot, because I can't keep them both. I shouldn't keep them both, but I don't know which one to keep. I like them both. The body on the Cutlass is way better than the Monte Carlo. The Monte Carlo's frame and floors are way better than the Cutlass, so it's like half dozen of one, poop in the other hand. But the knock in the Cutlass really sucks. I keep thinking about just getting another Olds motor to put back in it. I mean, my dream would be to find a nice 403 to just put in it and just run it, but I doubt that's gonna happen. And I don't really want to put an LS in it just because, like, oh, Josh puts LSs in everything, blah, blah, blah. So I was thinking, I've got that small block Chevy over there that I could just slap together. I've got pretty much everything to assemble it, and I just need motor mounts, headers, and trans adapter. And it would basically go in there. And then paint it gold to try and fool some people. I think that'd be cool. But yeah, 2021, man, what a crazy year. Do you guys know why 2019 is afraid of 2020? Because they got in a fight and 2020 won. But yeah, I think I'm looking forward to 2022. I have no idea what to expect. I've got some high hopes. There's some events I would love to make it to. There's some events that are being talked about that I would love to be a part of if we can kind of get our poop in a group. I think this next year we're going to probably put out less videos. We're definitely not going to do the daily videos anymore. I'll just keep it a stack with you guys. The daily videos are just because the last like 3 months of the year, the ad rates like go through the roof. So I was just trying to capitalize on that to fund all this trash. January, I'm probably not gonna do a whole lot of videos. I'm gonna take a lot of January to just work on the house. I got a whole ass basement to try to put together. I don't know, I'm just very hopeful for this coming year. I think the two biggest things for this year are, I just want to improve all the programs we got going on here, and I just want to have fun, which I think we kind of nailed for this year. All right, so I guess let's start wrapping things up and see if there's enough questions. Hopefully it's enough questions for to make this worthwhile. I just posted it a couple hours ago. This might be a big bust, but we will start with the YouTube community tab. I posted on there just, hey, we're gonna end the year off with a Q&A, try and get you guys involved, and what do you got? So we'll start it off. Ben Herrera says, do you ever go to junkyards? Any off-road builds in the future? And how new will Snydertron go? So do I ever go to junkyards? Not as much lately. I think I've only been this year. I mean, most of it's just like scrapping stuff, but as far as like walking around, not a whole lot anymore. Any off-road builds in the future? I would like to, but I don't really prioritize that. I'm more of a street guy. How new will Snydertron go? I'm just really not a fan of newer vehicles. I just don't care for them, to be honest. I look at pretty much any newer car and I'm just totally flaccid, man. They don't do anything for me. Henry Fjord, sick name. How did you get started with YouTube, and will there be any more story times? I got started with YouTube. My friend Seth and I originally had a channel together called Us Versus Everything, and the very basic boiled down premise of that was we would find free things that people were giving away on Marketplace or Craigslist and go get them, and we'd put one on the ground and we'd go up on my back deck and throw the other one off and see what would survive. So far the reigning champ was this big heavy like 100-pound dining table. It was destroying things. Car cam. Why buy and use an $1,100 oil pan on the Fiero build rather than make something more cost-effective work or build one yourself since you have a TIG welder? That's something that I was asking myself for about 2 weeks. And basically what it came down to was I like Brandon Furchess, LS4 King, a lot. And I think the stuff that he's doing as far as like making products that really help a lot of people that no one else is making, and taking all that time for research and development and just getting it made. I think that's really important. While it is very expensive, he's put in so much time and effort into making those oil pans that it would have just felt like stealing from him, basically. Because like what I would have done would have been a direct copy of his oil pan, and it wouldn't have felt right, honestly. And it helping out a small business. It's not like we're going to Walmart to buy the pan or something like that. Duffy Vapor, will I ever turbo my truck? Like, will he ever turbo his truck? How the fuck do I know that? I don't know, man. Do it if you want to. Jeffrey McDonald, what other hobbies do I have? Just video games, honestly. I play a lot of first-person shooter games, like Battle Royales. I've played a lot of PUBG. Lately, it's been Splitgate. We've been trying out Super People, Back for Blood, because my brother got me hooked on Left 4 Dead when it came out. Garrison Parks, vehicle you regret selling the most and why? That would be either the 1962 Ford Galaxy 500 that I completely restored, and then the other one would be the 1967 Mercury Comet Caliente that I can't say without saying Comet Caliente, because that one was like one of the first cars that my dad and I worked on together, and I used to know where it is. I don't know if it's still there, but if I ever had enough money built up to where I could just stop and ask him like, yo, what will it take to buy this car, I would go ask him. The Galaxy, I have no idea where that is anymore. Maverick Sutton, any advice on completely restoring a 69 Camaro? I feel like Camaros are easy if you have money, especially a 69, because they make everything for it. I've restored cars in the past, like that Galaxy. It's so time consuming. McConkey Mud Motorsports, why not put Jack's motor in the rear engine and have some fun? We have talked about that a lot, actually. Andrew Lang, I can go back and watch vids on her at any time, but do you miss having Goldie Hawn in the stable? P.S. Happy New Year, and look forward to many more awesome builds. Happy New Year, man. There are some times where I miss the truck, but I don't think I want that truck back. I'd want a different truck. What I'd really like to find is like an 80s square body or an OBS truck. To be honest, what I'd really like to find is a early 90s Ford with the straight six in it, a single cab short bed, 2-wheel drive, turbo the straight six, and just have a cool shop truck. Ted Butterhead is the last one on YouTube, and he said, if you had the chance to buy a Cuda, would you? I don't know, honestly. Like, I'm assuming in this dream scenario, I have the money to be able to comfortably afford it. And even then, I don't know. I feel like I've seen them so much in media and magazines and movies and stuff like that that they're almost kind of dulled out to me, you know? It's the same way people feel about LS swaps, I guess. They're just like, oh, it's another LS swap. It's like, oh, it's another Fox body. Oh, it's another Camaro. The Cudas are cool. I would almost rather have some sort of Studebaker. All right, let's go check Instagram real quick. IB Mikey, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier, says, are you ever gonna stop wasting your life on that abortion, the mid-engine S10? I don't know what we're gonna do with it, man. eGriff18, any intentions on finishing a car? Half sarcastic. I feel like you guys have really short-term memories because we've finished a lot of cars. I mean, it really depends on your definition of finished, I guess. Because to me, we've finished Jack Black a couple times. We've finished Goldie Hawn twice. The ARC-7 was finished once, like finished. It really depends on your definition of finished. We finished Dustin's Cadillac with the 6.0 swap. I feel like everybody who asks that, because it's something that I get a lot, I feel like everybody who asks that like expects me to completely do a frame-off restoration, and it's like that doesn't interest me really. Beard of Red, could you do an interview with Papatron talking about his past in cars and trucks? Yeah, we kind of did something like that a couple years ago, but I'd like to do it again. Clay asks, goals for 2022, I just want to have a good time. Really? Hey, speak of the devil, drink Dusty Cola, Dustin, with that white Cadillac we 6.0 swapped. Will you ever build a trail rig? Maybe if I get everything else done, then someday I'll put together like a little tracker. Jerry Miller, can you keep yourself from LS swapping the Cutlass? Yeah, probably. I Hot Rod 79, can you make a vid on tips and tricks for nitrous users that are beginners? I really don't think we're the guys for that. I'll be straight up with you, I don't think we're the guys to be giving advice on doing a nitrous setup. Odin22, what happened to the Silverado SS? I parted that motherfucker out to pay for that intake and some of the other stuff. Like, where do you think that intake came from? Chrome Dome, what's next after the Fiero? I don't know, because I want to get the ARC-7 and the Fiero done relatively soon, like in the next couple months, and then we'll see what happens with the Cutlass, which the Cutlass isn't going to be like a big build. I just want to get that fixed and running and maybe sell it. And then probably start on the Monte Carlo. Nomadic Wheelman, love the content, can't wait to see what 2022 brings. It's hard to say. Hate to be a thorn, I gotta click on this one to see the whole thing. Hate to be a thorn in your side, but regular cab short bed truck. Like I just said, I'd love to find an early 90s, like a clean-ish, doesn't have to be perfect, because then I can't afford it, like a clean-ish early 90s Ford OBS. Single cab, short bed, 2-wheel drive with the straight six. Any plans for the SS Silverado, and if so, what plans? Ooh, buddy, I got bad news for you. I got that truck and it was supposed to just need a transmission, and so I had the transmission rebuilt. I was gonna rebuild it myself and just didn't. So I sent it to Tony at Mid-Michigan Transmissions. He did a killer job on it. Got it back, got the truck up on the hoist, went to start stabbing it all back together, and just got to looking at the truck more and more, and I was like, man, this thing's not great. And every fucking bolt to put that thing back together was gone. And I was like, I'm not gonna deal with this, so I parted it out. '05 Dune Rado, you live in Michigan, when are you gonna build something for Silver Lake? Funny story about that, we used to go to Silver Lake almost every other weekend. We had I think they were both YJs. We had, my dad had a Jeep and my mom had a Jeep. My dad's Jeep was like 12-inch lift, huge ass like 40-inch tires, small block Chevy in it. The thing could fucking legitimately, and I'm not exaggerating, it could idle up Test Hill in reverse, and it pissed off a lot of people just because they were like, nah, you shouldn't be doing that, it's disrespectful. And that thing was a troll. My mom's Jeep was just like a little 4-banger, 5-speed, I think like a 6-inch lift on, I don't remember what tire. But that one did pretty good too. I've had a bunch of quads up there, but we've talked about putting paddle tires on the back of the S10 and taking that up there for like the sand drags or something, just because it'd be fun. Nando Cuz, in your opinion, what's a great street cam for an LS naturally aspirated? I mean, sloppy stage 2 is always the answer, isn't it? But I'm a big fan of Texas speed stuff. White Trash 96, fastest speed hit in the sketchiest car you've driven. The sketchiest car I've driven, probably the S10, right? I can't read this guy's full name. I think it says Billy the Mexican, but what do you think of an LS Swap 2001 Dodge Ram? I've got no problem with it. I like those Ram body styles. I think the dashes are shit, and I think LSs are sweet. How appropriate that we end the year off with an LS Swap question. And I would like to do more like collaborations with other creators. I think that would be cool. I've talked to Garageless a lot. If you guys aren't familiar with his channel, go check it out. He has a Turbo 3800 Fiero. He's a real cool guy. I've talked to MAK. I'd love to go down there and do some stuff with them. Obviously, we've done videos with Herb from Michigan Muscle Car before. I'd love to do more stuff with him. Even if we could just line up a day where we can both make it to like a test and tune or something, and everyone just come hang out, I think that would be sweet. But yeah, I'd love to do some stuff like that, get out and about, kind of stretch our legs. I would love to make it back down to Texas. I had so much fun there last time. And Justin, Dr. Differential, should be putting in his dyno today, actually, I think, or having it put in. So who knows, maybe we could go down there, put the RX-7 or Jack Black or something on the rollers and see what it makes, and then do some street stuff. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end off the year. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for watching all the videos, all the support from everyone, everybody who's bought merch. I appreciate it all. So thank you guys. Hope you guys continue to watch and hopefully enjoy the videos. And thank you for subscribing and clicking that bell. We'll see you next year.